Friends, this is Robin with Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in beautiful San Diego, California, where it is warm but lovely today. And we have some wonderful cards to share using Spotlight on Nature bundle. I've had this bundle for a few months now, and I haven't really used it until recently. And when I was making this card, I just kept making more and more and more cards. So you can tell that's one that I'm going to really enjoy using. And I'll show you at the end the other cards that I've made with this. But for some little announcements. So let me first just check and make sure I am live here, because I don't see anybody on yet. Yep, looks like we're live. So, all right, so just a few Stampin' Up announcement. We have some new online exclusives as well as some new kits. If you've been watching the last couple weeks, you will have seen some of those new online exclusives. Hey, welcome. And I also want to remind everybody the glass mat is available now, and you've been watching me use it this last few months, and I absolutely love it. It just sits here all the time. I use it for everything. About once a week I clean it off, and it actually, even cleans off real well too. So I'm really excited about it and hope you guys all order it. And then the other exciting thing is from now till the end of July, for every $50 you spend at Stampin' Up, you get an email with a coupon code for $5 off an order next month. So $50 increments are the real key to getting and using those. So I think that's about it for announcements. Whoops. Let me put you down here and get going on making a card, because, whoops, that's what we're really here for, right? All right, so we are using this Spotlight on Nature bundle today. And I'd have to say, originally, I was just going to buy the dies because I think the dies are so cool for layering sentiments and everything else. And I said, I might as well go ahead and get the bundle, because you get that bundle discount, etc. And hopefully some of you took advantage of that last month. But I'm really enjoying the bundle. It's just some very sweet sentiments and such, and these cool little background things that are fun also. So let's get going. See my glass mat? Remember I said, yep, use it all the time. It also comes with this little thing, this rubber mat thing. I haven't used that as much. So I pulled it out to try to remember to use it, because one thing that's really cool is you can use it to kind of hold your ink pad steady. You can use these little wells for mixing like watercoloring and such. So I'm gonna put it up here out of the way a little bit, but just know I'm gonna start trying to keep it on my mat. So this is the card that we're making today. And hey Roz, good to see you. And I'm going to ask for a little help, because I actually want to make it in a different color. So I used the Petunia Pop here. So I was thinking I was going to make it in Pretty in Pink or Peach Pie. So thanks, Roz. You may be the only one on here. At least you're the only one commenting. No, I've got 4 people on. So somebody tell me, which would you rather see this card made in, the pink or the peach pie? Peach pie it is, Becky. We are going with your recommendation. See what happens when you get to be first. So this is our regular 8.5 by 5.5 scored. At 4 1/4, and we'll fold that in half. Whoops. And use our bone folder here. Gosh, my bone folder is really dirty. I have to remember at some point to fix that. Oops, and now I'm noticing what I don't have here is, oh, no, I do. I forgot to grab the embossing folder. So hold on. All right, so this is one of the new embossing folders out of the new catalog called Dashing Designs. And we are going to run a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of just basic white through there. And I have to say, a lot of times when I get a new embossing folder, I do run it through with white, the basic white, just A, to kind of have and show it off, but B, I always end up using at least once a basic white of whatever brand new embossing folder I have. The other embossing folder that works really well, and I'll show you that in another card that I made with this, is the one with the dots, the new one with the dots. So before I lose that, let's just, oh, can't put that on quite yet. Don't want to put that on quite yet. Let's do some stamping. All right, so next up is I am using one of these circles from, where is it now? The die set. And I just wanted to point out that the die set, these circles are all the same size. So the biggest one is the same as this biggest one. So each set corresponds, but obviously you can move them back and forth. So this is the one that we're using today with the dots, and then we'll use the bigger one for the color. So I'm stamping today with basic gray because I kind of like the way the basic gray isn't as strong as the black, because I knew I was using these lighter colors. And I'm intentionally not stamping all the way, or inking all the way down, because I know I'm not going to use it all the way down. See? And I have ready to go this little handy scrubber thing. This comes with this, and it's really, really soft. So it's easy to do. So you can see this is a little bit lighter than our usual one. So since we've used the peach pie in the background, we're going to use the dark and light peach pie for our flowers. And when I color with my blends, I like to go dark first, and I'm using the bullet tip just to get some lines in here down at the base, because that's how I like to do flowers. And then I'm going to use the light and kind of blend this up. And I'm intentionally leaving a little bit of white showing here. One, because when I was coloring these, I kept coloring out of the lines. And so deciding to leave a little bit of white made that a little less likely to happen, plus just gives a little bit more visual interest. And then I'm going to use the Shy Shamrock, same thing, going with the dark. Probably going to just use bullet point totally on this. And then with the light, like I said, these are so small, I'm going to use the bullet point, just kind of, this is the light, this doesn't seem very light, huh? Now when you're coloring with your blends, try not to go all the way up to the edge, because they do tend to move a little bit. and bleed a little bit. I guess bleed's not the right word. I don't know. They just tend to move. And you can see that I did get some little bits outside the lines here, and that's where your color lifter comes in. So what I do is I lift it a little bit, wipe it on just a piece of paper, and it doesn't lift huge amounts, but it can lift those little areas. So I just happen to have a peach pie of the bigger one that we're going to attach this to. And I haven't put any of my glue on those little outside rings, and things have been sticking just fine, so I'm kind of going with that. I love using my glue because then I can move it around. Oops, sorry, Becky, just saw your thing about using maybe the Very Vanilla. That would work really well too. I'm going to have to try that. So I don't know if you noticed on the on my original card, but I did cut this off a little bit so that I didn't have to, you know, put it right up against it. So we're going to do that today. I have a guillotine cutter that I did this with. I'm hoping my Stampin' Up cutter will cut through both things of cardstock. I have a pretty new blade on it. If it doesn't, I will disappear again and do that, or bring in my big guillotine one. And that's the loveliness of, I can do this maybe even a little closer, of using a circle. Here is that, you know, you don't have to get it right on. It will work. Just move it around a little. All right. So now I'm going to attach this to there. And maybe move it up a little bit. Hold it in place. The other one I put my ribbon around the whole thing, but this time I think I'm just going to put my ribbon around here. And this is one of our peach in color ribbons. It does really actually look like it has a front and a back, so let's turn it that way. I was watching, I can't remember who, talk about how to tie these knots, and noticing I'm doing a lot more knots these days because my ladies keep telling me that they don't like doing bows. Anyway, but just to get them so that they lie flat up and down is to pull those little, let me just cut this to make this easier. Pull your little end pieces perpendicular like that, okay? I tend to use my little baby finger here to hold it in place, but somehow the pulling them perpendicular makes it easier when you go to do this knot to actually get it to lie flat like that on top. Some edges a little smaller. Obviously I'm doing this on camera, so it's not gonna lie completely flat for me because that's just how it goes when you're on camera. And then we'll attach that to, I think I'm gonna wait to attach it because I may need to move this around for our sentiment. And for my sentiment, you know, the sentiments that come with this are either dear friend or thanks. And shoot, I don't even know where I got this. I got a thinking of you out. I was thinking it was from this Comforting Thoughts, but it's, I don't see that in there either. So you'll have to tune into my blog when I find out where this thinking of you came from. Or maybe we'll try with something else on here. How about wishing you comfort? This comforting thoughts has a lot of different sayings for people who just aren't having the best day. You know, just cancer sucks. Obviously, that person's not having a good day. There's ones that say, I wish I could make this better. I don't have all the right words. I do have lots of love to give. Maybe we actually could use that one because I like the fact that that has a inside and an outside one. And it's so true sometimes, isn't it, that you just say, I don't know the right words to say to you today. And I know most people would just say, just thank you for noticing. All right, I don't have the right words. Now I did pull out the other one. I used a 3/4 inch little piece. Let's try it with that. And I'm going to get my basic gray again. See, it's been hanging out on my little pad over here. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. Now, most of the time, I haven't even practiced because I haven't even used this one yet. One of the cool things about this glass mat is, you notice this was a photopolymer stamp set, but I didn't use a piercing mat underneath. It doesn't seem to need it. This one might have to sit on top of that. Or I suppose it could go like that. That'll work. I am going to move this over, though, before we do it. Putting a little bit of glue underneath that ribbon so that it sticks well, doesn't move around. I'm going to move it over just a bit. All right, I like using glue, especially with these 3D embossing folders. Because it really tends to hold it down well. And then we can put a few, well, here's one anyway, dimensional, and then it's time to find a new pack. I don't know about you guys, but I use a lot of dimensionals. I mean, this is only a couple on the sentiment, but I'd have to say I can't even remember the last card that I didn't use a dimensional on. The hardest thing upside down, you guys, is getting things straight. All right, let's get a little piece for the inside, because I want to kind of do something a little fun with that. So this one is 3 3/4 by 5. And remember I said I like that in that comforting thoughts, because I could use this other one as an inside one that says, I do have lots of love to give. Looks good. And then one reason I wanted to do an inside piece like this is I wanted to use one of those little background pieces from the stamp set. I want to try to use this little hatchy one, which I haven't even used at all yet. You can tell because it still has that on the back of it. Because I like putting that behind my sayings. What I don't know yet, I'm going to try it on the back before I do it on the front, is how strong that's going to be. I think I'm going to stamp it off. And you can even use your mat, your glass mat for that. It works really well to stamp things off like that. Of course, then you want to quickly wipe it up before you make a boo-boo and stick your hand in there. Gee, how would I know about that? And then I also want to put, this is the leaf from our Spotlight on Nature. Guess I do need the basic gray one more time. I'm just going to put a little part of that leaf, whoops, down in the bottom here. Not the whole thing, just a little piece. Isn't that cool? You guys use those little pieces like that on your cards. I just love it when they throw those little extras in like that. Sometimes those become just favorite little pieces because you don't notice them at first. You know, I don't usually buy a stamp set because it has something like that. But it just adds a little something to the inside or the outside. I think on, well, maybe I didn't. You know, you could put those little dots in here too if you wanted to. But who wants to see some more cards that I made? All right, I will, Becky. I'll try to remember to make one with ivory. But right now, here's the one that we just made today, and here's my Petunia Pop one. I don't know if you guys have a favorite. Oh, you know what? I forgot the little butterflies. These are the brushed brass butterflies. I have to say that really carefully. They're carryover, you know, we've had them for a little while, but I just really like them. I think they're cute. I think they go well on, oh, this one doesn't want to pick it up, on so many different cards. There's the big one, and there's the baby one. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's lots of times I forget to put my little embellishments like that on here. So I'm very excited that I actually remembered. All right, who wants to see some more? Yes, please. Okay, well, here's another peach one that I made. Same colors, actually, the peach pie and the shy shamrock, and I used the, I'll hold it up a little closer. I used the dotted embossing folder on that one, and these circles work really well for that. And here's another one that I used. You can see how I used the leaf in the background, basically make your own paper. This is a little piece from the Frames and Flowers paper, and I used, to get the two colors on here, I used my Stampin' Write markers. You cannot color on your stamps with these, with the Stampin' Blends. So you have to use your Stampin' Write markers if you want to do that. So I just colored the flowers, then colored the greenery and huffed on it a little bit because that takes you a little more time. All right, and then these are the last two I did, which was embossing them. And I embossed them, the flowers, one on Pretty Peacock, one on Blackberry Bliss. I embossed them with the copper, And this is the, I don't know if you can see the back, the copper foil stuff from, carried over from last year. And the other thing I don't think you can see is I use this metallic enamel special effects, this stuff, and I just put a blob on it here and brushed it on. And if I have time another live, I may show you exactly how I did these, because this was kind of a fun technique, and you can see the copper back here, such. So we got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of cards that I made, all using this this stamp set here. So I hope you like that. As always, if you would like to buy any of this stuff from me, just send me an email at stampwithdrrobin@gmail.com. I will write up this tutorial of what we did today, and it'll be on my blog, stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com. Thank you, Roz. As you can tell, I had fun because I just kept making them and making them and making them. And I will see you next Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Thanks, everybody.